Well, here I am, surrounded by metal. Steel is a little bit of a clue as to the location of Dom's diary this week. This is a place, a city in the north, which I'm very, very fond of. Since I first started coming here in the mid-1990s, reporting in the newsroom and for the local commercial radio station, Hallam FM, as it was in those days. And one of the key themes that for all reporters of that time was the regeneration. This was just in the wake of the fantastic film The Full Monty. In fact, I'd just seen a canal over there, and I just thought of those actors trying to get across their steel girder and dropping it in the canal. And so this is more recently a place for me to come, because as the chair of the Community Media Association, which is based in Sheffield, and the Community Media Association informs one of the themes on this week's Dom's Diary. For now, though, let's head into the middle. You find me in one of my most favourite places in the UK. This is the centre of Sheffield. Yeah, I love being surrounded by big, great, glamorous silver balls, and the temptation to go down the route of adolescent humour and the thoughts of Bon Scott type lyrics I will avoid for this occasion. This is, as I say, the centre of Sheffield. Over here, the Peace Gardens. Might go and have a look at those in a moment. And the reason why I think we've got these incredible sculptures here is because we're very near the Crucible Theatre. Now, does that mean anything to you? I am not a sports fan at all. Apologies, there's a football over there, and we decided not to film in front of that because really I've got very little to say about football. I am actually a snooker fan. It must have been something to do with being young, I think 1985, that very famous snooker champions final. Steve Davis, Dennis Taylor, the re-spotted black, 18 million viewers across the country, and apparently the entire national grid took a nosedive at the end of it as everyone went off to make a much needed cup of tea. Love the snooker. The home of snooker is just over there in the Crucible Theatre, behind the Winter Gardens, where I'm going to hoof off to now and meet a very special person. And here we are. We have come into the Winter Gardens here in Sheffield. It's a rather good thing because it's just starting to rain outside. And with me is Bill Best, who is the operations manager at the CMA, and really the person who's most identified with the CMA, Community Media Association, which is the national representative body for community media and specifically community radio in the UK. Successfully fought for legislation that created licensed community radio in the UK. Bill has been part of this since those early days, and a fantastic kind of contribution you've made. We're all in Sheffield because you're packing your bags, and we're all kind of wondering what is going to happen, what will happen to the CMA without Bill.
Leaving this role, staying close to radio, I'm going on to Radio Player. Looking forward to that, very exciting. And 21 years, not quite 22, with the CMA. So when I started, there were 0 community radio stations. Now there are about 320. We've got small-scale DAB coming in, another exciting change. A government consultation next year, early 2023. There'll be a big DCMS consultation. So it's all happening, lots of change happening, and so I'm going to still be close and looking at what's going on. Technology
drives a fast-moving landscape. You know, you've seen a lot of changes from a technical point of view in the radio industry and the development of licensed community radio. How do you see the current sort of place we're at, and where's it all going?
Yeah, the changes I've seen have been around the growth of online internet radio, and back in the day, a lot of stations were streaming via phone lines, and of course we've now moved to high-speed broadband internet connections. There's going to be a huge growth in new stations with more spectrum available via digital platforms. CDSP licenses, community DSP licenses.
How important is it that community radio keeps its kind of identity in what could be considered a sort of muddying of the waters between the various different radio licenses? You've got BBC local radio, you've got commercial local radio. which is sort of perhaps returning through the DAB offer, and then you've got licensed community radio. How important is it for community radio to remain distinctive?
Well, I think there's lots of opportunities for community radio because of the networking and consolidation of commercial stations, and so community radio can play an important and greater role in delivering local news and information, which actually came to the fore during the pandemic. So I think we'll see more of these hyperlocal services maturing and just becoming more embedded and playing a greater, more significant role in their local communities around the UK.
Well, Bill, I want to take this opportunity as chair of the Community Media Association to thank you for your remarkable contribution and huge energies and dedication to this cause. And there are so many people in the UK who are now in their hundreds practicing community media, licensed community radio, all its shapes and sizes, that have a great debt of gratitude for you, because you're always there on the end of the phone and you will help people before anything else, which is a fantastic quality to have. So on behalf of the Community Media Association and all our members, I want to thank you very much. And as we begin to think about, well, I must ask you, how do you feel when that day comes when you will be going to a different office?
Mixed feelings. Sad, very sad to leave the CMA. It's been my home. It's been my, university. I've learned so much over the 20 years and developed so much as a person. So many opportunities that the CMA has given me. I've learned so much from all my colleagues, from CMA council members, from all of the community radio stations, and so and that will always be with me forever. I'll try not to get too emotional. That's going to be with me forever. That will just, as I say, just be with me forever.
I thought we'd end our conversation in front of this marvellous reference to the city that you have worked in for the Community Media Association for 22 years and has been the home of the CMA for even longer than that. And some of our operations are going to continue here in Sheffield. Others are moving to London, and actually in the kind of post-COVID type environment, we can now kind of consider multi-locations, which I think is to the benefit of the ethos of inclusion of different parts of the UK. But, for now, Bill, let's take our leave of you and this fair city.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, we've moved over to the Peace Gardens, and what fantastic waterworks. What a great place. Lovely to see everybody out enjoying this summer's evening here in the middle of Sheffield. And joining me is Mary Dowson, and this is a welcome to Dom's Diary, but this is a rather special themed one because the Community Media Association, I'm the current chair, you're a past chair, and I was wanting your thoughts on where community radio, because you've been there right from the start of it, what was the original plan and how's it gone?
I suppose I got into community radio in 1991 when we had the idea to run a RSL, a restricted service licence for the Bradford Festival. And it was probably the most exciting thing I've ever done in my life, was to have an idea to set up a radio station, and then a year later you turning on your car radio and hearing people on the radio. So that for me was just so exciting, and these are the days before any digital stations, any social media, and so the radio was just such an important medium, and still is, but it's very different now. So the last 30 years for me have been a real journey, real journey, and one that I think I'm really proud to have been part of, and I've made my life, I suppose, these last 30 years.
And you're still running that station
I'm still
now,
running the station, yeah.
And so how does the Community Media Association come into that journey?
Well, I suppose I was invited to come to a conference in something like 93 or 94, and I was immediately sort of elected onto the council, and I've served on the CMA council, CRA as it was then, and then became chair for a lot of years, But I do think it's good that there is a limited term, so you do make way for new people and new blood and new ideas to take over and to direct the Community Media Association. But it's so good to have that representative body to lobby and to direct and support people who want to make community media.
My view is that as we go through these changes, inevitably they come to any business over time. I believe that the CMA has a really great future building on those foundations that led to the formation of licensed community radio in this country. We've got challenges going forward, but I think we're going to be a really fortified, reinvigorated, dynamic organisation to meet those challenges. Do you share my hopes?
I do indeed, but I think that we have to remember this was a battle we fought. We had to fight for community radio licences. They weren't given to us. We fought for those, and we fought to have licences for the sector. And for me, holding a community radio licence is a political action. I do feel it is. I think we're able to bring grassroots voices to the media to enable people, empower people to have a media voice. And that's what I think is the most important thing that I can do running a community radio station.
And do you feel that now that has never been more important?
I think it has got a level of importance that is different to people being able to have a voice on Facebook or Twitter. I think they're both all important, but I think the medium of radio is still really important to people, and the fact that we share a platform altogether.
Mary, we'll leave it there though. Thank you so much for being my guest on Dom's Diary. And we will indeed leave it there. So from Sheffield until wherever in the country you see me next, it's goodbye for now.